Okay, so here we have another old piece of Silosis history. This is my ESP M2 made in Japan. So similar to what is now the E2 series, but I got this back in 2007, I think. So I just got an endorsement with ESP in the UK. It was through their UK distributor at the time. And I think Casting Shadows had been out, our first EP. And we had like this kind of 2-page spread picture in Metal Hammer of like upcoming artists. And it was just a picture of me live, even though I wasn't the singer at the time. And it was just a huge picture of my old LTD EC1000 guitar. So I sent it to the guys at ESP in the UK or their UK distributor and say, can I have an endorsement? So they agreed and they gave me a discount off the guitars. I think it was something like half price off retail. I can't remember. But anyway, yeah. So I got this guitar, but I actually ordered one that I had for a very short period beforehand. I got another one of these, but it was rosewood neck and it had Duncans. And the only reason I got it was because I just really wanted a new guitar and they didn't have these in stock and I was just impatient. And then I played it for a bit, realized that I just really wanted the maple neck and the EMGs at the time. And I ended up selling that one and buying this one like a few months later whenever I could kind of be a bit more patient. So this is technically the first one that I have, technically not the first guitar that I got through ESP with endorsement, but the first, the one that I still have anyway. That other one was, very short-lived. I have no idea who I sold that one to. So this one was used for pretty much all of the leads, most of the leads on Conclusion of an Age. Not all of them, but a good chunk. I definitely know I did like Transcendence and After Lifeless Years, and like Oath of Silence, like all those songs on this one. So this one did quite a lot of the leads on that record. Again, this is older body and a bolt-on maple neck, which is like just my preferred tone wood combination or, construction as well. I think that is something that I've kind of gravitated towards, and obviously why I designed the JM2 and obviously why I've designed the JM2 the way it is. So yeah, this guitar, I actually didn't have it for too long. I think I recorded Conclusion with it and then I wanted to get something else. I'm one of those people that just kind of, I feel like getting new guitars is just inspiring. It's just inspiring to look down at a new guitar when you're writing. So I'd always be kind of like wanting new guitars, and as much as I'd want to keep them all, I was just a kid, so I didn't have any money. So if I saved up money for a guitar, I'd have to just sell one and get something else. So I sold this one, I think, in 2008, not long after we did Conclusion. I don't think I did any shows with this one really, which is a shame because it's a really cool guitar. I did play a lot of our set, all the D standard stuff we did at our Islington show when we came back with Cycle of Suffering. So that comeback show just before the pandemic hit in 2020, I used this guitar for the stuff that was in D. But so I sold it to Shane, who was a Silosis fan that I was familiar with at the time. Would speak to him from time to time on MySpace back in those days. And I sold it to him. And I hit him up in 2018 or 19, which is when I also hit up Faisal about buying back the LTD Michael Wilton that I sold to him. And I just said, do you still have the guitar? He said, yes. I said, would you sell it back? And he said, yes. And I got it back. So I'm very stoked to have this guitar. So again, the specs, we got a real Floyd Rose. I've recently had the Fishman Moderns put in. Older body, bolt-on maple neck. I guess the frets are jumbo. I'd assume they are. Like I said, I think this is like a 2007 or 2006 model. I bought it in 2007, but don't know how long it was sat in the warehouse of, I think, Selectron at the time, who was the distributor for ESP. No locking tuners. Obviously, you don't really need that. It's not as important with the locking nut there. I've just realised that's loose. Probably been playing with it loose like that for a while. This one sounds great. I have taken it on tour recently, but it was just as a backup, so I didn't actually use it. Still a great sounding guitar. I kind of do a lot of playing with it at home. The neck's not quite as thin as the JM2. I think this is a thin U, and the JM2 is an extra thin U. Still pretty comfortable. And like I said, just a really great sounding guitar. I think I also recorded most or a lot of the solos for Cycle of Suffering with this one. So when I got it back, in 2019, I was, recording a lot of the Cycle of Suffering stuff around that time. So I'm pretty sure at least I used it on I Sever. And are there any dive bombs on Cycle of Suffering? There might be, but if they are, it's this guitar. I feel like there might be some in Arms Like a Noose or something like that. But anyway, yeah. Very cool guitar, great sounding guitar. I've always loved the ESP reverse headstock. Obviously, I think it's like the coolest shape, and that's why the JM2 is pretty much very similar to this guitar. Aesthetically, a bit different bridge, and I don't gravitate as much towards like maple necks these days, the lighter wood. I like just everything dark as possible. And actually, I think the reason I got this guitar and wanted the maple neck was because I was watching like videos of Michael Romeo from Symphony X on YouTube. Like, I was just like discovering him as a player, and some of his like guitar lessons from his home video, guitar instructional video thing were uploaded to YouTube, and it was like how to play Sea of Lies and that kind of thing. And he was playing essentially this guitar, but it was in purple. I don't know if that was a custom shop or they just made it in purple for a period in the 90s, which is probably what they did. So yeah, that's why I wanted the maple neck, but it's definitely a cool look, but not something I'm as into these days. Actually, I also remember John, is it John? Yeah, the guitarist, the original lead guitarist of Black Dahlia Murder had this guitar as well, and I kind of, I just really wanted that maple neck because of those two guys, I think. So yeah, compared to the Michael Wilton, this is like a really similar spec in terms of older body and bolt-on maple neck, but this one's got a bit more maybe prominent mid-range to it. But yeah, very cool sounding guitar. Plays like really well, really comfortable, even though the neck is not as thin as the JM2s. I don't really notice it when I play this one. Admittedly, I've spent so much time with this guitar, and I did a lot of like my woodshedding and guitar practice. I remember doing a lot on this guitar back in the day and just kind of getting better at like sweep picking and doing all my modes and writing licks and stuff on this exact guitar. So yeah, it kind of just feels like home playing this one.